Hey, it's Faith Talk Live. I'm Rick Probst.
And I'm Dan Ratcliffe.
And the doctor is in. It is Dr. Gary Layne, and functional Christianity is his game. And if you're watching Facebook Live or YouTube Live, there in the back, I think that's Bernie Sanders back there. Is that Bernie?
No, that's a salamander. That's not
Yeah, it looks like him. It's like no mittens though. Let's see, no mittens. Let's see, no mittens.
Hey, who'd have thought that that picture? I mean, it's everywhere now. I can't go anywhere. I lifted the lid on the toilet earlier, and one of the boys had slapped a picture of Bernie right there on the toilet lid.
That's funny.
My favorite one is they've put the body of Bernie Sanders with the mittens on Belichick's head.
Yes.
Yeah, that one's great. Yeah. Belichick is so mad that Tom Brady
yes.
Super Bowl again.
I was going to ask you now. I know you're a Patriots fan, period. So it doesn't matter really who comes and goes. You're going to stick with the team.
Absolutely.
Kind of like what the fans of the Browns did for so many years, right? I mean,
yeah, the dog pound.
Yeah, you can't get any worse than the Browns. Oh, they did pretty good this year, I think.
Yeah, they made it to the playoffs, made it to the Kansas City, but Kansas City's a buzzsaw. They're really good again this year.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes, my Texas Tech boy.
Yeah, I think, I mean, I think I'm going to lean toward, again, Kansas City. And what are you going to do, you think?
I'm going to root for Tom Brady just because he was a Patriot for 19, 20 years. I think their defense will be able to slow down either their tight end, Kelsey, or their number 10 super speedster guy. I think they got to stop one of those, and I think that's what Buffalo did wrong, was they weren't able to stop either of those guys. They let them both run wild. So while they stopped their run game, they didn't stop the receiving game, and Mahomes is a great thrower, so
yes, he is.
It'll be fun. It's gonna be exciting anyway.
We'll get into
talk with Rick and Dan. Here we are.
Yeah.
We'll with Rick and Dan.
We'll get into the good stuff here in a second, but I was listening to or watching Dan Patrick, and he was talking about how, Tom Brady at his age, how good he really is at that age. I mean, he's still healthy and still pumping it.
Yeah, I think he's done a really good job. I mean, he schedules out what he's going to eat for the year. So he is very self-disciplined to the point of like a little bit maybe crazy.
A year in advance?
Yeah, he already knows
what
his
I'm going to eat
plan.
30 minutes from now, much less a year in advance. Wow.
Yeah, avocado ice cream and all that. He's super into health, super disciplined with his diet and he still does fundamentals every day, fundamental drills to keep it fresh and keep it good. So he is dedicated to his sport, and it shows.
Yeah.
It is. Sometimes we have to go back to the fundamentals, right? And whatever, and just say, okay, where did I drop off? Where did I miss it? And whatever it is. And I just need to pick it back up and just keep going. Dr. Gary Layne, functional Christianity, and he promises that Dan and I can come over the house sometime, but we haven't seen that invitation quite yet.
I'm sorry. It's coming. Yeah.
I'm picking. Functionalchristianity.com is the place to go. Let me start off with this, and then we can get into, because I know you have a special this month for couples, but I read on your Facebook about the op-ed piece about division. Thank you for putting that out and writing that. Perfect timing for something like that. Are you surprised by all the division that we have had? I mean, it's not just, it's in so many arenas, right? I mean, you're talking about even within the church about division, about political stuff. Division is everywhere, and it's driving Dan and I crazy. We're sick of it.
Yeah. Division is the tool of Satan. Paul talks about beware of the schemes of the devil. And he says, put on the full armor of God. One of those is the belt of truth. And what's happening is he is working as hard as he can to divide us. I think social media does a great job of that. They say the algorithms, if you watch kitten videos, then they're going to feed you more kitten videos because you'll stay on the internet watching kitten videos, so they'll pump you more. I saw a guy that unplugs drains like in New Zealand or something. It's fascinating. But I watched one of them, and the next thing I know, my whole YouTube, my feed is filled with, hey, you want to watch another one? Want to watch another one? And so
no,
it focuses you in the wrong place.
Yeah.
And so Satan's job in my book is to divide us by getting our focus off of God, off of the truth of God's word, and that he is all about, God is love. Just go read 1 John. And it talks about God is love, and those that know him love, and those who know him love because he is love. We are love, and division is the tool of the enemy. So don't be surprised that division comes. That's his tool. This is his kingdom. Jesus, when he was talking to Pilate, said, this isn't my kingdom because my people would fight, but we're not fighting because this is not our kingdom. Jesus had a bigger picture. He had a much larger view. I think that's why he didn't fight for, I don't know, it seemed like he didn't fight for as many social justice things as we do. He didn't fight to end slavery. Paul didn't fight to end slavery. What he fought to do was end physical or spiritual slavery so that you could be free even if you were a slave. And I think that's where we miss the boat. It's like, I don't care if you're left, right, center politically. I don't care if you like this team or that team. That's not the point. I need to be able to love people who are of a different opinion than I am. I need to be able to love them. That says you don't have to conform to my way and I don't have to conform to your way, but I do want to be able to love you and show love in a tangible way. And that's where the church is missing right now. I don't know what pastors are preaching other than what my pastor, Dr. Ike, is preaching. He's doing a great job. But yeah, unity, man, that is something that we need to focus on heavily right now as Christians.
Yeah. Can we just go back to a world without social media? If we could just get rid of social media, I mean, I know that wouldn't solve all the problems, but I don't remember getting this upset before social media.
Yeah.
Because, everybody wasn't able to put their opinions out so readily and say things that are so divisive, like, well, if you don't agree with me, then you can defriend me or whatever. I mean, come on, right?
And that's what Satan's game is. I think Satan invented social media.
Yes.
Because it is the best tool to divide us. It puts us, and that's how you divide and conquer, right? What did Jesus say? A house divided against itself cannot stand. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know why people are like, oh, wow, this is crazy. No, it isn't. Jesus told us. He said, if you're my disciples, you will love one another. And he said in John 15, he said, they will know that you're my disciples for the love you have for each other, not even him. It didn't say they'll know you're my disciples because you love me. It said they'll know you're my disciples because of how much you love each other. And so again, that's where the focus is off for Christians. If my neighbor is not a Christian, if he's not a follower of Jesus Christ, if he doesn't understand love the way I understand it, I don't fault him for his positions and his views. Those are his positions and views, but it's not my job to change his mind. It's my job to tell him that God loves him and there's a bigger picture than there's an eternal picture. He needs salvation. He doesn't need to have my point of view on politics.
Yep.
I love what you say about the bigger picture because it is. And I'm not surprised about division, but I'm surprised about how people that I thought were more mature that they can't see the bigger picture. I have a friend, and we have mutual friends, this friend. And he just said, okay, wherever, the election's over, I'm praying for the president. Let's move on. And the comments of people that have known him for 20 plus years, because I've known him and them, it's almost like they're complete strangers. I said, wait a minute. Everybody has an opinion, right? So
absolutely.
The relationship to me is more important than whether I agree with him or not. I agree with him, but it doesn't matter. But these folks are just, it's brutal. And you lose friendships over. It's like, well, how deep was our friendship? That an election could cause a divorce, if you will, to someone that you've known for 20 plus years. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I think you're absolutely right on that. The somehow, I don't know how this crept into the church, and I'm not trying to knock down churches, but somehow division in the church over politics is become unbelievably huge. Yeah. And we need to stop it. And I don't know how you stop it other than pastors need to start understanding what's going on. And maybe pastors need to get together and go like, hey, why don't we preach on unity versus division. I don't care. I mean, I understand who the president is. I understand he has an agenda and a calling that he feels is his. And you know what? We're gonna reap the consequences of our decisions. And maybe that's not my way of doing it, but you know what? He's in charge. I'm not in charge.
Yeah.
And so I trust that God knows what he's doing. This is totally weird, but like I burnt my finger on the toaster this morning trying to get the toast out. You know, I hate that when you reach down in there to get, all right.
Yeah.
You know, you're supposed to wait until the toast pops up, Gary. You don't reach down in there and get it. That's the problem.
You know, so you're like, what has this got to do with anything? So here I am. The toast popped and I could see the top of it. And I can get that. I reached in with my fingers and I burnt my finger. And I'm like so upset. And you know what I bought this Christmas? I bought some tongs. And they're right there. They're even magnetic tongs that they're stuck on. And I have 2 sets. And they're right next to the toaster. All I had to do was reach over, take the tongs, and pick that toast out. And I would not have burned my finger. So now I'm upset because I've burnt my finger. And I'm like, Jesus, don't you love me? And it's like, yeah, I love you, but you're an idiot. Use the tongs. And so what we've done, that's what we've done. We're burning our fingers going, God, where are you? And he's like, I'm right here, but like use your toaster tongs.
Yeah.
And so and the point of that is we make decisions that bear consequences. And so if we're gonna die on the hill of the president's good, bad, wrong, right, then we're in the wrong game completely. And again, we need to refocus on God loves the president. God loves the vice president. Yeah. He's not about their politics. He's about their soul.
Yeah.
He wants them to understand. And if he's a devout Catholic, I pray that the priest that he listens to, our president listens to, I pray that they're sharing the gospel, not policy, because I don't need that. Yeah. And so I'm not worried about it. Yeah. I didn't vote for the president. He's our president. I pray for the president. Yeah, he's our president. And you know, the other thing is, let's be honest, probably about 95% of what they do up in Washington, whichever side it is, has no effect on us.
Yeah.
It good really word. Doesn't. It doesn't good affect word. Us that much.
Yeah, that's so good, Gary. You need to, I don't know if you've already done this. I know you did the thing about division. If you do one about unity, you do a video about unity or something, I think you're absolutely on target. Not that you need my okay or you're good, but I think you're right there. Oh, and by the way, I use a fork. So you stick the fork in the toaster, and if you're lucky, you get a little jolt while you stick it in there.
Yeah. Rick Probst found dead on floor with fork, with burnt toast and fork in hand.
What a terrible
Gary Layne said, use the tongs, Rick.
I like what he said, what Jesus said, you idiot. You idiot.
Okay, I just want to let you know that's biblical. If you look in Galatians chapter 3, oh foolish Galatians. And that word foolish right there has been sort of watered down. It basically is the root word in the Greek that we get the word moron.
What is this? Go ahead.
Galatians. Oh, you moronic Galatians, having begun by the Spirit, are you now being made mature by your works?
Yeah.
Don't be dumb.
Yeah.
So think about what you're thinking about, folks. That's what I would say.
Dr. Gary Layne, Functional Christianity. And in my book, he is a doctor, functionalchristianity.com.
And we say Gary for president.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
No, not at all. That would take me off of my focus, which is to help people understand how God and their life works together. So that would take me way outside of my comfort zone. Although it'd be fun to try.
I thought your focus was to be the QB of the Patriots, but I guess I was wrong.
Nah, not this week.
Not this week.
No, no.
Let's talk a little bit about now. You and Allison just minister to so many couples. You bring them to your home. You do so many things. You've got to, and what a home it is. Someday Dan and I will see it, and it'll be amazing.
Right there where that salamander is.
That's right.
That's right.
Or Bernie Sanders, whatever you see.
I don't know where it is. I can't figure it out. It's over there.
So you've got a special for couples this month, and I think it's a great price. tell us what exactly is going on this month. Remind maybe the couples of what you do there and how you can help them.
Yeah, so it's interesting that I do a lot of counseling with couples, and I don't know why, but it tends to be the guy who is way behind in figuring out what's going on. And usually there's this old saying says by the time the guy figures out what's going on, it's too late. And so I don't know why, men. Maybe we're focused on our job, or we're focused on providing for our families. It's kind of like we tell our wives, I love you when we get married. And then we go, you know what? If anything changes, I'll let you know. And we never continue that out. And so there can be a slow drifting there. I think Casting Crowns has the slow fade song.
Yeah.
And so what I wanted to do is, it's the new year, it's Valentine's Day coming up. And so I just wanted to offer a checkup. We go to the doctor for wellness visits. We go for checkups to see how our body is doing. But I wanted to do a relationship checkup. And so I've got some great tools where you'll take this online assessment, and it's got about 370 questions on all areas of your marriage.
Wow.
And then after you take that test, or that assessment, we go through it together as a couple and with me, and we talk about the areas, and there's areas of concern that pop up, and maybe nothing pops up. Maybe you have like this amazing marriage, but at least you're on the same page. And then what we do is we talk about it. We set some goals for your future in that. And then about a month later, you get to take the assessment again to see if anything has changed for you. So it's really a great checkup, really inexpensive. You can purchase that on my website, functionalchristianity.com. It's in the store. It's called the 2021 Relationship Checkup. And I'm just trying to encourage couples to connect with each other, because there is so much of this division going on. And I know Satan wants to divide homes. And so I want to just try to give them some tools, some resources that they can reconnect with each other.
Yeah, Gary, it'd be interesting to see how many couples, for instance, the husband thinks, yeah, everything's dandy and great. We have a great marriage. And the wife's like, are you in the same marriage that I am?
Yes.
And the husband doesn't have a clue.
And that happens a lot, more than you would want to probably admit.
And vice versa sometimes, I'm sure, too.
There's one or the other. It's always one or the other. Tends to be more the men that don't have a clue, but sometimes the women don't have a clue what's going on in our hearts. And they think, well, we're I'm cooking dinner for her, and I sleep in the same bed with him. And so we're good. And he's dying on the inside because he feels so alone. And that's typically what happens. Somebody starts to feel alone. And that's the first step into going outside of a marriage, or becoming addicted to pornography or shopping, or it starts a pattern where we feel lonely in a marriage. And that's really sad. And so I just want to help people take a checkup on that.
Now you've talked to and ministered to and counseled couples over the years. I mean, this is not something you just decided to do last week. You've been doing it, and you've seen a number of couples get to the other side. What have you seen, whether it's the man, the woman, and I got it, and then they put those things into practice? What have you seen? Maybe, we obviously don't mention names, but maybe a couple that hey, okay, now we see it. Now this is what we've implemented in our marriage, our relationship, and look at it now. What have you seen?
Yeah, it all boils down to communication. When what happens is, it's like railroad tracks. They sort of get on parallel courses, and one's over here doing life and one's over here doing life, and they're running next to each other, but they're not together as one. And so what happens is, when they see that, they sort of have these aha moments going, oh, I didn't know you felt like that. It's like, yeah, I just kind of been afraid to say anything because I feel rejected, and I don't want to say I feel rejected because I might feel even more rejection. And so they don't have good language around how to communicate with each other. So what happens is, we just spend some time and we learn to communicate and even voice what our concerns are. And it really is eye-opening to the couples. And now they're aware of it. And once they become aware of it, now it becomes a priority in their marriage. And so they learn to start dating each other. Allison and I just celebrated 9 months of marriage. And so it's like, well, that's not a big mile mark or anything. No. But every month we go out somewhere around the last week of the month, because we got married on the 25th, and we sort of go out and we have a date and we just chat, and we don't talk about our politics. We talk about each other. And so we try to communicate about things with each other. So that's what I've seen. I've seen couples come together and go like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know you felt that way. And it's like, yeah, I was just scared to say something. And so it's helped a lot in the communication, stop them from being on parallel tracks and start them coming together as one. And it's really fun to see happen. It's really fun to be a part of it. It's a real blessing for me.
FunctionalChristianity.com. Would it be safe to say that I shouldn't tell my wife, Donna, oh, you foolish Galatian?
Yeah, no.
No. Every decision has a consequence. So feel free to say that and feel free to sleep somewhere else. I mean, it's like every decision has a consequence. And I think that's why Paul and Jesus in the Bible is like, make good choices. Why? Because they all decisions have consequences.
Don't burn yourself on the toaster.
Ow.
I know that you won't do that again. You'll use one or both of those tongs at the same time.
Pretty much every time.
That you've learned a lesson. And you know what? Allison would have never used her finger. She would have used the tong right off.
Yeah. She's why I bought them, because don't tell her. She's in the other room. But yeah, that's why I bought them, because she would stick her finger. She would do it more than I do. And so I got them for her. That was her stocking stuff for this year. Kind of not very romantic, but hey, she doesn't have burnt fingers. Now I do.
Thank you, honey.
Hey, I was trying to communicate that I care about her. If she doesn't want to use them, I mean, that's up to her. And evidently I need to learn how to use them too, because I burnt my finger.
Dr. Gary Layne, FunctionalChristianity.com. Check out the deal that's going on, and keep up with him. And you've got a store. Looking forward to the Dr. Gary Layne t-shirts coming out pretty soon as well.
I need to get some "I'm not a doctor" t-shirts.
That would be awesome.
That's it. That's what I'm getting at.
FunctionalChristianity.com. All right, doctor. We'll talk to you next month. We hope we have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you soon.
Blessings to you guys. Thanks for what you do.
All right. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. I'm Rick Probst.
And I'm Dan Ratcliffe.
This is Faith Talk Live.